Samagamaram Sammasambuddho Smartadorayena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipano Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Dhammayam Bhagavatam Sajaman Sasana Ime Sagari Yadara Arupite Apipuchayama Sadhuno Bhakti Bhagava Suchira Parinibutopi Pajima Janatanu Gambhamanasa Ime Sakare Dugata Panaka Rabute Patikanatu Amakandi Daratan Etaya Sukaya Aram Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavatam Abhimadimi Swagato Bhagavata Namo Dhammam Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami Dhammam Buddhassa Bhagavato Papapakanama Karandaro Masi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So, very good. Very nice to see everyone again. So please now, everyone here, everyone online, sit up well, good posture, nice straight back, body and mind alert. And you close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, you leave behind all that you've been doing, thinking about, everything. Put it all down and leave it. And determine now to do your best to keep your attention, keep your mind here and now, at least for this evening. And we commence by bringing to mind the Buddha, reminding ourselves of our great teacher and inspiration, recollecting his perfect mind, a mind that was completely free of all corruption and defilement. And not just that, but far away, far distant from any of that kind of thing. His was a mind, too, of infinite compassion. a truly great and wonderful being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you recollect the Buddha, when you are reminded of him in any way, be inspired to cleanse your mind too of all greed, hatred, and delusion, and free yourselves utterly of suffering. And remember to approach this with a mind and attitude of loving kindness, especially for yourself. Don't be shy about trying to love yourself, to be kind to yourself. This can be a difficult path, and we will inevitably bump into areas of ourselves that we don't like very much or are even quite ashamed of. So remember to be kind and caring and appreciative of your good qualities, rejoice in your merits, and be accepting of yourself. We are as we are, and for the time being, we can't be anything different. In the future, well, of course, much will change, and hopefully will change for the better. And of course, be kind and caring of others, appreciative of their good qualities, and accepting of them too. Now take a moment to recollect the nature of your human condition. From the moment you were born, you've been aging. Time has been passing. It's a one-way street. We grow up and we get older, and we carry on getting older and older, and there's no chance ever of putting the clock back. Life hath but one direction, and time's its only measure. And during this life, we can meet with an accident, something within our body can go wrong, we can become unwell, all sorts can happen to us. We're very vulnerable beings. And then, sooner or later, we will die. This is our life. Aging, sickness, and death. And of this, we have to make some sense of it all and come to terms with it. And hopefully, contemplating death will instill some immediacy to our practice. We'd better get on with it. and sort things out. Understand the nature of our being. Really look at it carefully and see it for what it is. And this is our practice. And it involves concentrating and quietening, stilling your mind. So now, quite deliberately, gather and concentrate your mind. Be aware first of your body, your posture, and notice your breathing, the feeling, the sensation, the experience of breathing in and breathing out. And pay close attention to that now. So that you know just where and how you perceive the breath. Where is it clearest to you? It might be a sensation near your upper lip, over your heart, at your abdomen. It varies for each of us. So know your breathing and narrow and tighten the focus now. So you're really concentrating on being mindful and aware of that incoming breath, that outgoing breath. That's all that need exist for you now. Just breathing in and breathing out. Now remember, if you catch your mind wandering, which is a very common thing to happen, as soon as you notice, be mindful and aware of what you're doing, of what you're doing then, of what you're experiencing then, at that moment. You might have caught your mind wandering and you feel annoyed, frustrated. Be mindful and aware of just that. Pay attention and let it go. And find the breath again. And again try to be just there on the breath, mindful and aware of breathing in and breathing out. And if it happens again, that your mind wanders or you catch yourself listening to something, feeling some ache or pain or whatever, know it. Be mindful of it. Let it go. Back to the breath. Find the breath again. And so on. So please maintain your very good meditative posture. And during the next few minutes, while I'm talking, try to make listening your practice. And understand that as just listening. That's all. We recognize that it's a normal habit to try and do several things at once. But really, that's not a very good idea. But it's our habit to very often listen to something and do some job or some task and of course we don't really listen. And in conversation, it's quite usual for people to not really listen to what the other person is saying. So try not to be like that, but try at least for the next few minutes to just listen. Be alert and just listen. Don't worry about agreeing with what I say, or disagreeing, or remembering, or anything. So the Buddha once said that he didn't fight with the world. He doesn't disagree with the world. It was the world that disagreed with him. And he went on to point out what he could see and what the wise saw and understood, and that he agreed with what the wise could see and understand. That these five khandhas, form, feeling, perception, volitional tendencies, and consciousness, are clearly impermanent. He didn't formulate a dogma or a belief. He's led us to open our eyes and to see what there is to be seen. This is very important and an important feature of Buddhist teaching and practice. Seeing things, understanding things as they really are is not easy because our minds are full of views and opinions, ideas and beliefs, and attachments to those views and opinions and ideas and beliefs. And it's very common, it's very usual to want to put those beliefs and ideas forward and defend them, promote them, argue about them, and contend with others. And that's unfortunately what happens and brings division and unpleasantness and unhappiness into our world and into our lives. It's a reality that we have to live with, that people have these views and opinions. And many of them we can't agree with. Some of them we might find rather repulsive. But there it is. This is what people do. It's a normal thing. Because of not seeing and not understanding things clearly, to formulate these views and opinions, and they become, we think of them anyway, as part of us and as belonging to us. And they support our idea of self and me and mine. These are views and opinions that are thought about, formulated, and attached to. And they contend one with another. And sometimes these collisions become extremely painful and destructive. And they're bound to be going in that direction. They fan the flames of greed and hatred. And we have to be very careful about this. Come back to what the Buddha taught and what he did and what he is encouraging us to do. And that is simply to open our eyes and ears and see and hear things as they are. Of course, with our minds clouded with views and opinions, it's difficult for us to do this, which is why we have to practice to concentrate and clear our minds. At first sight, coming to practice and to concentrate can seem, well, almost an unnecessary thing to do. I mean, you're just sitting there and concentrating on your breath, and there's nothing very exotic or profound about this, it would seem. But, of course, yes, you do realize that you feel a bit better for doing it. It gives you some respite from perhaps a very restless and busy mind. But there's more to it. Because you're developing a skill that in time will enable you to see and know things as they are. Tonight, and as I usually do, I've asked you, when your mind wanders, to just take a look at it. We can't help very often, and usually in the beginning, our mind's wandering. It happens. It's quite normal. It's not unusual. And especially if you're a busy person and your mind is full of the things that you ought to do, haven't done, and so on and so forth, they will appear. They will suddenly blot out your attempts to keep your mind on the breath. So you have to deal with them. And a very useful way of dealing with them is to just look at them. Because you will see very quickly that those emotions, that anger, the desire for pleasure, the doubt, whatever it is just a movement of your mind. It's just mind. It's just, in some cases, feelings. And as you watch it, you'll see that it changes. And if you don't feed it, but you step back and you just watch it, even the aches and pains You see them for what they are, and often they fall away. So you make good use of your wandering mind. Of course, you come back to trying to keep your mind still, concentrated. But the mind can be very rebellious. It doesn't seem to want to allow you to look too closely. And so again, off you go, a train of thought, a dream. Or in some cases, you find your mind extraordinarily dull for some unknown reason, or agitated. And again, if you just look at it. As soon as you are aware of what's happening, again, you can see it for what it is. And this all helps to build your ability to just observe your experience of life, to just see things for what they are. There's no cultivating a view or opinion or a dogma here. You're just looking, just being mindful and aware, just seeing. It's always struck me, particularly since I encountered Buddhist practice, that if you want to know and understand anything or anyone or any creature or plant or anything, just watch. Don't bring your views and opinions and your books and your all that. Just watch with as clear and as empty a mind as you can. And you will cultivate an understanding, a real understanding of whatever it is. And that's what you're doing with your experience, your life. Seeing it with greater and greater clarity. The more concentrated and still and clear your mind, the more you will see. It's as if you're cleaning your spectacles. They're muddy and fuzzy and messed up, and gradually you get them clear and you see things better and see them for what they are. And there's no attachment to this. In fact, you're putting attachment down. So you're not developing another theory, something else to argue about. This is our approach. This is what the Buddha taught. And while you're doing this, you're concentrating, you're practicing what is known as samatha and vipassana, concentration and insight. And this is the way to lead you to understanding, to wisdom, to knowing things for what they are, in their true nature. Seeing that your experiences, all of them, are changing. Not just one day they were like this and now they're like that, but it's a ceaseless flow, never stops. And of course, you begin to see the foolishness in attachment and the danger, especially this attachment to views and opinions, and how people fight over them. We're seeing this more and more at this time in our country and world. more and more contentious. And no good comes from it. Unfortunately, yes, people will disagree with us, but we don't have to disagree with them, if you see what I mean. We have to just see, as best we can, things as they are. And we don't have to fight. No good comes from it. People think that going out and demonstrating and so on and so forth is the thing to do, but what do you see in those demonstrations? Anger, aversion, hatred, violence. No good really and truly comes from it. Society becomes more and more divided. And there's no peace and happiness in that way. So please be careful. Devote yourself to waking up, to opening your eyes, to seeing and knowing the true nature of things, to being able to let go of views and opinions and contending. Cultivate a lasting and secure peace. And that's enough from me for tonight. We'll sit for another moment or two, bring loving kindness to mind for yourself and for everyone, for everything. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Have a good weekend, and I hope we'll meet again soon. Good night.